Hi, I'm Lindsay, and I have an opinion about energy in South Africa. Let's get started. So in September of this year, Eskom stated a requirement of an additional 1.3 million tons of coal per month because of shortages at the Mpumalanga power plants. This additional coal would be needed to be budgeted for until the end of their financial year, which is in May in 2019. So there were 7 power plants that were running at critical level. Before that, in August, Pakamini Radebe stood in front of Parliament to explain that 9 power plants in Mpumalanga were running on between 20 and 10 days of coal reserves. What he was saying was that we needed to ship or transport the coal from the surplus coal at Medupi, which is in Limpopo, via truck, which was costing 500 Rand per ton, over and above the 350 Rand per ton that Medupi originally paid for their 20 million ton surplus. Why does Medupi have the surplus? Because the plant ran late in construction, and the mine next door, which is ironically named Exaro Grootgeluk, told them, we've done all this work for you, you better take this coal now at this price or you're not getting it at all. Upon its completion, Medupi will be the biggest dry-cooled coal-fired power station in the world and the 4th biggest coal power station in the world. It started construction in 2007, and upon completion, which is sometime in the distant future, we're not quite sure when yet, the entire cost will be around 122.5 billion Rand. So you've probably heard that the Guptas were somehow tied to this whole situation, and that is not entirely false. So what happened was the Hendrina power station was taking suboptimal coal from Optimum Coal Mine, which was owned by the Gupta-backed business Tajita. So Tajita had been stuffing around the Mpumalanga power plants for a long time with undersupplying. Apparently, they had only made 16 out of 20 deliveries in a 2-year period. And what was this dirty coal costing Eskom? 201 Rand per ton, which is up from what they originally agreed on at 150. So then what happened was that because Optimum was the only supplier who could realistically meet the demands, they were the only logistical option for Eskom at the time. But during the 2016 to 2018 period that they were missing all of those deliveries, they were consistently hitting their export targets. But I mean, the exports are netting them around 1,075 Rand a ton versus the 150 they were getting at the time before the new deal was signed. Oh, and suspended former CFO of Eskom, Anju Singh, he was the guy who paid Tajita 1.6 billion Rand to then help them buy Optimum, and then gave them a prepayment of 500 million Rand so that they could secure the supply. But how did it get this bad? It's because Eskom and the board of directors were trying to save money instead of spending money on infrastructure at the Eskom-owned coal mines and securing their future supplies. And when I say save, I mean the Eskom top brass who were allegedly lining their pockets with all these backdoor deals and kickbacks and stuff, and also getting their bonuses every year even though we were having rolling blackouts. But there is an alternative though. So Medupi, it really is an engineering masterpiece. It's an amazing power plant. Why we need it though is a bit of a concern, because Medupi, apart from costing us so much money, it's adding 25 million tons of carbon emissions per year. And while I'm firmly against the climate accords that are taxing emerging economies like our own for using the practices that established economies built their wealth on, I'm a bit against taking on such a big project when we really didn't need to. Why do I say we didn't need to? Because we have Pebble Bed Modular Reactor technology in this country. Yes, it's nuclear power, but before you go up in arms about the dangers of nuclear power, hear me out. So Pebble Bed reactors, unlike, well, it's kind of the same as the one that MIT University had developed, but ours is a direct cycle helium gas driven turbine. So Pebble Bed reactors hold about 7 to 9 grams of uranium inside of a silicon carbide and graphite shell. It's about the size of a tennis ball. So what happens is You get helium gas that gets squeezed through there, and that heats up to like 900 degrees Celsius. And if you're heating it up to 1000 degrees Celsius, you even get a byproduct of heat, which could then do all those expensive metal smelting jobs that cost us a lot of electricity to begin with. But in 2010, Barbara Hogan, the then Minister of Public Enterprises, scrapped the whole Pebble Bed project. Why? It had already cost the country 10 billion rand in research and development since the turn of the millennium. And to get to test bolt phase, it needed an extra 30 billion rands worth of investment. But I'll tell you this, while we are on the right path with the integrated power plan and the independent power producer contracts that Eskom set up earlier this year, nuclear energy is actually better for the environment because it causes less landscape modifications like you would need to set up all those wind turbines and solar farms. Plus you get less animal deaths because wind turbines at the scale that we need to power this country is going to amount to about 1 million bird strikes per year. And just because it got scrapped in 2010, remember that we spent 12 million rand over 3 years to build the World Cup Stadium, so it wasn't that big of an investment. So my idea is this: restart the Pebble Bed Modular Reactor program. Then we can also license that intellectual property to the UK, who are investing quite a bit of money into those sorts of operations. Then we can set up Pebble Bed reactors within decommissioned coal power stations because you can build them that small. So you're getting localized power generation exactly where it's needed. Then with all the coal surplus we have, we can hand it back to Sasol, and Sasol can continue with its good work with extracting oil from coal and the planned extraction of gas from coal. South Africa will then lead the world with 2 energy generation technologies, one of which is highly sought after. We can then continue empowering the independent power producers and getting that clean energy on that side as well, while still staying within the limits set with the climate accords. But Medupi is the 122 billion rand coal hill that we are willing to die on. But that's just an idea. I'm that opinion guy. This has been a Hammer Rose Productions shot at the Panda Bomb Studios. Cheers.
All I really know is I'ma flow and keep rocking. All I really know is I'ma flow and keep rocking. All I really know is I'ma flow and keep rocking. All I really know is I'ma flow and keep rocking. All I really